Hello everyone, Daniel Kerr here. So, last time I spoke to you guys, I was working on some bass waves, and I rendered a bunch of those out. This tutorial is how to use your own waveforms in the Ableton sampler as an instrument, not so much like a drum rack or whatever, but I'm going to show you some techniques. We're back to the original track that we were working on before. Here's the drums we got going on. There's a lot of random stuff going on in there, a lot of features. Let me turn this up just a tad. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I've got these three MIDI channels over here. And I'm going to go into my instruments, and I'm going to lay down an instrument rack right here on MIDI channel 1. And as you can see, there's nothing in there. It says drop a instrument or sample here. So what we're going to do is drop a sampler in there, okay? And yeah, I've got a gate on my microphone. Hopefully it comes out okay. I was trying to cut down some of the room noise. My previous videos had a lot of it. And as you know, my screencasting software only goes for 15 minutes before I need to get off. So I'm gonna work quickly. Here's our sampler. What you want to do is you want to set up all the parameters of your sampler. Sampler also is in a instrument rack. This in an instrument rack. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and I have the bass waves that I made, which I gave away for free, and I put a bunch of those up for free, and you can get that in the description right now. And what I'll do is I'll include this instrument rack that I'm building now in there as well. But so tuned to C, these are the ones that are tuned to C. The other ones are tuned to F. F is a common frequent key that people work in bass music because it's a nice, thick, heavy bass. Anyway, so in C, let's listen to a few of these. Okay, so I'll just take this number 7 and I'll drag that into the sampler. And when I hit the keys, there it is. What I want to do is before I duplicate this, I'm going to show you this is how I like to use waves in the sampler. Okay, first is I like to set the pitch, or excuse me, I like to set the loop. So right now it loops the whole thing. Listen. Okay, kind of abrupt. What I like to do is I pull the loop start point just forward just a tad, and I pull the loop end point just a tad, right? And then I crossfade them just a little as well, so let's listen. Okay, much less abrupt. Now, because these are bass waveforms, I'm going to go to the sample itself, which is filter global, and the global settings here. I'm going to set the release up just a tad, maybe 2 seconds. So it has a little fade, and then I'm going to change the polyphony to monophonic from 6 to 1. And that way, because they're low frequencies, one voice won't interrupt another. So it won't play during the playback of another. They won't blend. Okay, and we have our filters here, and you can season that to taste. But I'm not gonna. Control Z is undo. I'm going to leave those normal. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the oscillation. I'm going to turn that on, this extra oscillator. And this gives me FM and AM. And frequency modulation, get a little FM. I'm going to change the type to digital sawtooth. And let's just listen to what happens when I increase the FM volume. Listen. Alright, so I'm going to leave that there because I like it. And let's see, you can do some other things. Pitch envelope is pretty cool if you want it to bend downward or upward. You can turn the amount, listen. With FM. Too much FM and too much pitch envelope, and it stops being a bass line. But anyway, so I've got these things going on. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to modulation, and I'm going to turn on LFO1, and I'm going to put the filter all the way up to 100%. I'm going to change the rate to sync with the BPMs. Now listen. Okay, and the type, I'm going to keep it at a sine wave, but you can change it to, say, sawtooth. Okay. And just to listen to what it does, right? Let's listen to the beats. You can change the timing. Okay, and if I go to the filter, I can pull it down, the frequency of the filter cut off a little bit, and you can hear it more drastically with the modulation. Okay, so I'm going to take a few of these parameters, and I'm going to, because we're in an instrument rack, right? This is why I did this. So I'm going to take a few of these, and I'm going to set them to some of the macro knobs. So first thing is the filter frequency. Right-click, map to macro 1. Okay. Let's see. The resonance, map to macro 2. In the pitch in oscillation, I want the amount of pitch envelope to be on macro 3. I want the volume of the FM oscillation on macro 4. And in modulation, I want the type of waveform for the modulation to be on macro 6. Whoops, skipped 5. So what I'll do is for 5 is I'll turn the filter depth, LFO depth, to macro 5, and the timing on macro 7, and then we've still got something that we can put on macro 8. How about morph, filter morph to macro 8. Okay, so all these are set, and if I hold a note, I can turn, I can mess with the filter frequency and the resonance and the pitch envelope and the FM volume. Yep. LFO depth and the waveform and the sync rate and the morph. As you can see, the filter morphs between filter types, and it's really, really sweet. We could have turned, actually, you know, I'm going to undo the filter morph, and I'm going to turn on the shaper, and I'll set the type of the wave shaper, which is distortion, to sine wave, and I will set the amount. I'll map the amount to macro 8. Now listen. Gives it some overdrive. Okay, so now we have all these set up. Now what we can do is, you remember I have all these waveforms here that I made. I can take this piece, select this instrument, and I can hit Control D and duplicate it, okay? Waiting for it to duplicate. Okay, all of the new duplication will have the same mapping as the first one, but when I go to sample, I can switch it out by dragging another one down. And then I can duplicate that, okay? And I can drag a different sample down for that one, okay? So now, if I play it right now, they're all going to play at once. It's going to be very loud. Hold your ears. Okay, it's all these are playing at once. The thing is I can go to my chain, and I can select all of these, Control A, and I can grab these and drag them out, and I can put up to 127 instances, all with different waves. And I can right click this right now, distribute ranges equally, right? And then, you know what I can do is, instead of, now, when I'm sequencing these, I can choose which wave I want by using this here. Now listen. I'm going to turn some of this stuff off so you can hear what's going on. Okay, so now let's just record a quick sequence. All right, that's a terrible sequence. Doesn't matter. Let's listen. Okay, so you can immediately see all of the potential here. You can put in 127. Another thing is 127 different instances of waves, all with the sampler settings, having the same settings. And what I should have done is, instead of putting the shaper amount here on number 8, I should have mapped this select to number 8 so that you could sequence that easily, or even use a controller to choose the wave, right? So anyway, soundcloud.com/SnowMetal. You can go there and you can follow me and get some music. Facebook.com/SnowMetal. You can keep up with my news regarding my musical projects. Okay, you can subscribe to me here, and if you go into the description of this video, you will be able to find the if you go into the description, you'll be able to find all these bass waves, and you'll probably have to give me an email in order to get them. And I'm going to put this instrument here, and I'm actually going to sit here and I'm going to develop this and put all of these waveforms that I made into instruments into one rack, and you can get that as well. And I hope everybody's blessed, and I'll be back with the second installment in a couple of days. And I apologize for the noise in the back. I got a bunch of kids and I love them, but you know, family life is noisy. Everybody have a good day.